Today's episode is for homeowners who are getting ready to sell and want to get the highest possible price for their home. This is pretty much every seller, right? Well, today we're going to talk about how you can accomplish this. So today's episode is fittingly titled, How to Sell Your Home Fast and for Top Dollar. And our amazing guest is here to share with us exactly how this is done. Ebonee Clark, a rock star agent, top producer, and a marketing guru. Let's get into the episode.
Ebonee, thank you so much for joining today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Well, let's jump right in.
Okay.
Now, this roller coaster market that we've been in for the past 2-3 years, I think really going on 4 years now.
Yes.
Ever since past COVID, right?
Right.
I mean, so what are you seeing? As far as sellers, they've really had to readjust recently.
They do. So right now in Atlanta and probably throughout the country in hyperlocal areas, it's a buyer's market, right?
Yes.
So there's more homes available on the market than there have been in years past. So buyers have options. So when sellers go in, they really have to hit those, what I call them, those 3 P factors, price, presentation, promotion, to make sure their home shows well. So it can't be overpriced. It has to be clean, ready to go. And the promotion has to be there for all of those factors to be in place if they have a positive experience with the sale.
I love the 3 Ps.
Yes.
Pricing, very important.
Absolutely.
How do you talk to your sellers about proper pricing?
So I always say it's not Ebonee that's telling you how much your home is worth. I let the market tell you what the property is worth.
There you
so
go.
we're looking at home values, homes that have closed in the past 6 to 3 months. We're looking at the photos and there's a comparison that's in play, right? How does your home compare to this home and days on market? And with all of those factors, that's how we come up with a price. Now, a lot of times I give them a range, like here to there. And some people like to pick the higher range, right? Sellers, they get their dues attached to their properties and they think they are valued higher than they are. And so they want a price high sometimes, and that could be a detriment to the sale. So pricing is definitely strategic, and you want to hire the right agent to make sure that you hit it on the head first, the right time.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Those first 2 weeks are very critical when you first get the home on the market. So pricing becomes really, really important.
Absolutely.
Those first couple of weeks. Fantastic. And then you also mentioned presentation. How do you talk to your sellers about making sure we put the best foot forward as far as our homes?
So, of course, we always want to neutralize the space, right? When buyers come in, they want to see themselves living in that space. So they don't want to see your personal photos, your red walls, yellow walls. I've seen purple walls, right? So let's neutralize the space. Let's make it feel like calming so that any buyer that walks in can see themselves in there.
Yes.
Let's make sure it's clean.
Yes.
Homes that are clean, we've seen anywhere from 7 to 10% where they'll sell higher than homes that are not been clean. Let's declutter.
I'm surprised that percentage isn't higher.
Right. Let's declutter.
Yes.
So declutter the space, neutralize the space so that buyers can see themselves, and your presentation should go over well with buyers.
Okay, very good. And you sort of touched on a really important question for homeowners, and that's what are some of the biggest mistakes that homeowners may make before they put their home on for sale or while for sale?
So I think, for one, it could be the overpricing, right? We touched on price.
Right.
Overpricing, not taking the time to prep the property, so cleaning, and it could be landscaping. It could be moving boxes down out of the space. And then, of course, you want to make sure that you set realistic timeframes to show the property. Sometimes sellers have too many restrictions in place around showing the home.
Yes.
And buyers, when they are available to see your home, you want them to get in, right?
Yes.
So, and that can be hard sometimes with people's schedule, but you want to make sure that you have an open availability during that window when you first hit the market.
That's right.
And of course, hiring the right agent.
Of course.
To make sure that it is priced right, to make sure that it's been decluttered, and that you have great photos. We know that 97% of buyers start their search online. So you want your photographs, the marketing, to be beautiful to get buyers in the door.
Yes, absolutely. And that's part of promotions that you touched on as well. It's so very important. important. And I like when you mentioned landscape, and let's really, drive that, because curb appeal is everything.
Absolutely.
I've seen buyers walk up to homes and the grass is this tall and they're like, oh no, I'm not even going in.
Right. Like, okay, no, can we just believe right now?
And I can't blame them, because if this is what your outside looks like, well, what does the inside look like?
Yes.
So yeah,
So curb
definitely.
appeal is important. You want to also factor that into the sale of your property, not just prepping the inside, but how does it present before you pull up? And you don't want to do the whole catfishing thing, With some people, the outside looks nice, and then you get inside and you're like, what happened? So making sure those photos present the property in its real state
Yes,
does help.
absolutely. And sticking to promotions just a little bit longer, open houses.
Yes.
How do you feel about open houses, and how effective are they?
I like open houses. Some agents hate them because it's like, oh, I mean, really, is a buyer going to come through and buy the house? But recently, I've had success with an open house where an agent was there hosting the open house, not on my behalf, because I like to bring in other agents because they have their own networks and they can add to the assistance of getting that property sold. But a buyer came through that loved the house during the open house, and they wrote an offer with that hosting agent. So there is some success behind open houses, and you want to, of course, have the home open and available to the public, just to get, even if you're just getting feedback for the sellers, so they can hear what other people are thinking. Like I had an open house on yesterday with one of my listings, and although the buyers didn't necessarily like the house, they gave me their reasons why. It was too traditional for them. And so that's good for the sellers. It was a beautiful home. It showed well, but for their taste level, it just wasn't for them.
Yes, I'm telling you, feedbacks are so important.
Absolutely.
Feedbacks are absolutely important. And agents out there, please provide the feedbacks from your buyers. Because a lot of times, we'll give sellers, information and advice, but when they read it from others and buyers, it really
it hits home. Yes.
Yeah.
Because after a while, when it's been sitting if it's been sitting on the market for a while, then they tend to heed to the advice or the feedback that the buyers have shared, and it gives you room to make adjustments where you see fit.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of homes on market, I think the average days on market now, maybe 45 to 65 days.
Well, it varies. It just depends on the area. I think, we're in Marietta right now as we're recording that. And I think in the 30064 zip code, days on market is about 47 days. I was actually on the phone with a seller. Their house has only been on the market for 26 days, and they're already frantic. On the market with another agent, they're calling me like, what do? We don't get an offer. And I'm like, give it time. Your days on market in this area, you're still under that average.
Exactly.
So just give them more time. So, because sometimes it takes time. We're in a market where it's an oversaturation of homes. So buyers need more time to find your home.
Absolutely.
Or we need to push out more, digital advertising to get buyers in the door.
Right, exactly. And I've been surprised with this market. It's been such a roller coaster. I've had some homes that I've listed that I'm thinking, oh, this home is going to be gone in 3 days or less. And it's set a little bit longer than expected.
Yeah.
Then I've had homes like, oh my gosh, this one's going to take forever. And then it's gone just like that. So sometimes it's also, I wouldn't say luck, but the area makes a huge difference. And there's a buyer. There's a buyer for every home. So
there is. And I can speak to that too. Like I remember getting a listing. It may have been in Dallas, Georgia. And it was an older split level home. And we went on the market and it had offers within 3 days. And it's like, wow. So sometimes those homes where if it's priced under, like I think the average is what, 400,000 right now in terms of home, the average sales price of a home in this area. So homes under that average tend to sell quickly because you have more buyers in that pool that are looking for those homes.
exactly.
So it's just, you really will never know. It varies, but as long as you are making sure that your price right is presenting well, time will tell, but you will sell eventually. I think as long as all of those factors are taken into consideration, you'll have a successful buyer. I have a house in Hiram. It's beautiful, but it's been sitting on the market. The house across the street went up for sale. It went under contract in a week. but it's the size. The size of this property is much smaller. So people are looking for homes that are a little bit bigger, but we're still under that average, right? Because the average days on market is like 130. So there's so many factors to take into considerations on why some homes sit and some homes don't.
Yeah.
But I think once you can figure it out, like once you can study, okay, maybe we need to adjust the price a little bit more so that we can get more buyers through the door. Or maybe we need to go ahead and take up this carpet or paint this wall to get more buyers in the door. It just varies.
Right. And recently I've had to announce an allowance, flooring allowance. Sometimes you're not able to fix the flooring. And sometimes you have to be careful because the buyer may not like all the money you just put into your flooring. So we offered an allowance. And so, yeah, you're right. All those things can make a difference in days on market. But yeah.
Yes, ma'am. And I wouldn't necessarily advise people to put in too much money in renovating a property before they're listed.
Exactly.
You know, return on investment you do need to weigh that before you decide on big renovations.
Yes.
But typically carpet and paint, those are good,
Neutral, as long as you stay neutral.
Exactly. Those are good things to invest in that you're going to see an instant return on.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And if you don't have the money, like you said, have a allowance set aside for the buyer.
Exactly. Perfect. So now, I am sure you get this question a lot. When is the best time to sell your home?
Okay. Well, I can say that during the spring and summer months, those are the busiest times of the year for real estate. You have people, school's out for the children, so families are moving during that time. But I would go as far to say is like you list your home and sell whenever it's the best time for you. Like don't time the market. Whatever works best for you and your family is when you should sell. And here's the thing, during those summer and spring months, it's busy, right? There's more products on the market.
That's right. More competition.
So more competition. So like I said, list whenever you are ready. Buyers ask the same thing. When's the best time to buy? Right? Whenever you are ready. So when you're ready is when the time is right for you.
I love that answer.
Yes.
Perfect answer. So let's just kind of like dig right into the profitability for sellers. Okay. What is the best way for sellers to be profitable, like get that top dollar for their home? We know pricing is important, but how can we price it so that sellers are able to be as profitable as possible?
Okay. So I'm going to say when it comes to being strategic with pricing, it's all about that particular family situation.
Right.
Look at your payoff. Start there. For some, I have a listing recently where the house has been paid off for years. So anything they make really
is
profit, right?
Very nice.
Yes. And so I think you can't be greedy.
Right.
So you got to look at the market and see what's going on. You have some homes that sit longer. Let's look at the homes that have sold. Let's look at the homes that have sold in the least amount of time as possible. And now we don't know what their net is, right?
Right.
But we can look at those numbers and kind of gauge on where we should be repriced. So the market shows that if you price at market value, you get about 60% of potential buyers. If you price 15% below market value, you can get about 90%. So you could probably get the most money by pricing at market value or below. Pricing below really can drive the amount of buyers. You got 90% of buyers versus 60 or 30 if you're going over market value, right?
Yes.
Then there's the potential for you to have multiple offers.
Yes.
With multiple offers, you can drive up price.
Yes.
So you can net more. Yes. But at the end of the day, I think you just have to do what's best for you, right? Look at your numbers, look at your payoff, and try not to be greedy. Try to make sure that it's fair on both sides, that you're getting what you need from the deal, and the buyer may need some assistance there. So they may ask for some closing costs, especially in this market, right? So pricing it well, I have a seller where we price the house, but the buyer needs closing costs. So we increase the purchase price just a little bit so that the buyer can get back those closing costs.
I love that.
So it works it works on both sides. The buyer gets what they need and the seller still nets what she needs to move on.
Exactly. It's a win-win for everyone.
Absolutely.
I love those scenarios. I know that you're just as passionate about real estate as I am.
Yes.
So what is your favorite part of being a realtor?
Oh my gosh. I think maybe it's the The relationships, connecting with people. When people are doing transactions or going through real estate transactions, it's a big moment in their life. They're going through something, having a baby, getting married, going through a divorce. There's death. There's so many different reasons why people sell, and it's very emotional a lot of times. So being there to advise them and guide them through the transaction, it always makes my heart happy because I'm like, I'm being of service to someone else. So that's what I would say is my favorite part. It's just being a service to people.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And don't you just love first-time home buyers?
Yes.
And you get to give the keys to someone who has never owned a home. I love that.
Yes, I've had so many, and it's always amazing. I remember this one young lady, she had her budget. We were, I think, $350. And we ended up stumbling across a new construction that was priced at $375.
Wow.
But guess what? The builder came down on the price. We were able to negotiate the price to $350, and they covered her closing costs.
Oh my God.
So something that we never would have thought would happen. And we were just in the neighborhood looking at another property and was like, oh, they have new construction here. Let's just go check it out and just see. But the listing agent was like, look, if she likes this house, let's work together to get her this house. So whenever you run across another agent on the other side that is just as passionate about what they do as you are,
Yes.
it really works for both parties, the seller and the buyer.
Yeah.
Because they both won. The seller sold their property and the buyer got a brand new house.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it, Ebonee. Your stories are always so awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing some of them today.
Absolutely.
Okay. So what would be your number one advice for our audience today?
Well, my advice to sellers would be to take their time. Don't be in a rush to just get the house on the market because you want, first impressions matter, right? Especially in this buyer's market. So, lean into your professionals, lean into taking the time to prep the space. Don't just list the property. You want to launch it like a product, right?
Right.
So that would be my advice. Take your time. Make sure it's presenting well. Make sure the photographs look well. Make sure the flyers, the marketing is ready to go, and then launch it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. And thank you so much for being with us today, Ebonee. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching today's show. And remember to follow our show on this channel by subscribing below. And leave a comment to let me know your best takeaways from today's episode. Please also share this episode with a friend. I love building a community that's always learning, always growing, and always your universe for all things real estate. Until next time, I'm Stella Harris, and I'll see you soon.